Yeah, how do you interpret all of this as applying now, particularly when we have so many planets in the one sign?
Yes, absolutely. So I'd like to just run through, if possible, each sign, and I have a few little notes here that I'm going to refer to, but each sign and how the Aquarius stellium might be affecting your sun sign. And also, if you do know for the people out there, if you do know your rising sign, then please do listen out for that one as well, because that will be very accurate for you and how these themes might be affecting you personally. So on a personal level, of course, we've discussed a little bit the collective and the global ramifications of these Aquarian themes. But on a personal level, Aquarius is going to bring about the desire for greater freedom. It's obviously a highly intellectual sign, so you'll be exploring sort of new areas and new ways of doing things. And of course, Aquarius is super individual. Aquarius dances to the beat of its own drum. So you'll be hopefully learning a little bit today when I run through each sign, how you can apply that individual streak and what areas of life, most importantly, that might be affecting for you and your sign. Okay, so and I love your chart back there. So
I'll help you along with it if you like, if you want to.
Would you like me to pop up a little chart which shows up all the planets as well? I have one. As I mentioned, I try to get a chart for each sign, but we don't really need it, but it is just good to have a little look. This is my first try at screen sharing, everyone, so if I mess it up. Okay, here we go. I found it, and here is today's chart. As we are coming to you, we have the sun in Aquarius, we have a Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. And I would just like to point out that, Mercury retrograde really cops a bad rap. But here we have the light expression of a Mercury retrograde, where we're going in deep, we're going behind the scenes to discuss the themes of Aquarius while Mercury is moving backwards in the age of Aquarius. So it's giving us an opportunity to be introspective about Aquarius, which I quite like. We have Jupiter in Aquarius for the best part of this year. We have Venus in Aquarius, and we also have Saturn in Aquarius, and the new moon as well, which is going to be opening new doors and new chapters for us. So I'm going to exit out of this, and hopefully it all gets back
to... Well done for your first share.
I'm going to get back to full screen now.
Did well.
There we go. That was very exciting. Okay. So if you would allow me to run through each sign, I can do that now, and we can explore which house. So I'm looking at the houses and what area of life this Aquarius stellium might be triggering for you to create this type of Aquarian change. So if you are an Aries or an Aries rising, then your 11th house is going to be triggered. There we go.
I'll be the weather girl.
Thank you so much. So this is going to be creating a bit of a friendship inventory for you. It might be time to take a look at your friendships, maybe do a bit of a friendship cull, because this is bringing about a new perspective on who needs to be in your life. Who do you surround yourself with? And are they still in line with your points of view, with the way you want to live your life? It's so important that we align ourselves with like-minded people, because those that dull our vibe are really unhealthy for us. And sometimes we can just go along without really reassessing, and we find that we're being pulled down and judged, and it just sometimes might take a little bit of an Aquarius, for Aries rising or Aries folks, might take a little bit of an Aquarius nudge to say, hey, you need to take a look at this, take a look at your friendship group, and maybe just reassess there. Of course, the 11th house also rules hopes and wishes. So this might be a good time to reassess hopes and wishes and make sure that you're living in accordance with your authentic dreams. And with Aquarius being all about originality, are they really your dreams, or are they someone else's dreams? And maybe they were your dreams back when you were a child, but maybe they're no longer relevant for you. So it might be time to sort of make some shifts in that area. Okay, so moving along to Taurus or Taurus rising people. So here we have 10th house. 10th house themes at work here. So 10th house, of course, rules the career. It's your midheaven. So Taurus people might really find that they have a complete about face with their career. These are the people that they've been accountants, and that's been working very well for them previously. But all of a sudden, with this Aquarian energy, they decide they want to be a circus performer. So, now, obviously, that's a little extreme, but you get my gist. There could be a really radical change in what you do for a living. And I always love the 10th house as being more of a vocation rather than an everyday job. Yeah. So it might be that you have to maintain your everyday job, like being, you know, an accountant or whatever you're doing for an everyday job. That might have to be kept on the boil because we all have bills to pay and so on. We need to be practical about that. But it might be your vocation, your life direction that takes a radical turn for the better with this Aquarian energy. And of course, Aquarius is very much a charitable sign as well. So I think if your midheaven is being triggered by this stellium, you might benefit by doing some type of volunteer work or some type of charity work that benefits. Wouldn't it be great if it was to benefit humanity at large? But not all of us are going to change the world, and not all Taurians are going to change the world there. But perhaps then look at how you can better your local community or do some charity work for people or a cause that's really close to your heart. So that's what I see for Taurus people with this Aquarius.
Yeah, love it.
Yes. And moving right along to Gemini. So this is the 9th house for Geminis. And of course, the 9th house rules travel, which is challenging for us now with COVID. But there will be that yearning. There'll be that yearning to travel regardless of whether we're able to or not. So my suggestion would be to perhaps explore traveling within your own boundaries, which is, of course, a very Saturnian theme, and we have Saturn up there in Aquarius as well. So perhaps working with those boundaries that are put in place, and perhaps exploring your own local areas, traveling around your own country. I know in Australia, the government's certainly encouraging, because it benefits the economy, of course, encouraging Australians to travel in their own country and see your own backyard. And it's not such a bad idea, really. I think, you know, we're often, 9th house is very much what's out there, you know, the higher learning, and how can I grow and how can I expand myself from what's out there. But sometimes, you know, if restrictions are put in place, we have to work within. And I would apply that to travel for Geminis and Gemini rising people. And then also, if the travel bug isn't getting you, then the 9th house is very much about education as well. So, and that is essentially an exploration of the mind, isn't it? So 9th house, of course, rules Sagittarius, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but I think that a lot of Sagittarians, they don't necessarily feel aligned with travel, and they think, well, I'm the sign of travel, but, you know, I really am a bit of a homebody. But I would suggest then in that case, you're probably a Sagittarian who needs or has the need to explore within, explore your mind. You probably love to sit there and read books and educate yourself then, because it's still a way of expanding your horizons and learning and growing.